There are times I know it can be hard to get up and go. You can always count on those beside you. When you're far from home, it can be hard to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. When you're on that road, you can share your heavy load. Every day can be a new adventure. When you're far from home, it can be scary to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. Leave out of me question.
Welcome back, LU Cuties, to this week's episode of the League of Ultimate Questing Battle Axis. This week is episode 81, Oculus, and it's the end of this chapter. Very happy to see everyone in the chat. It's a pretty bumpin' Monday. I see... Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm trying not to. Whew. I got it. I pulled it back in. I see Lucia, Zombie, Resh, Pin, all the hits. And that seems to be the main cast right now. But yeah, for anybody... Thanks, Zombie. Yeah, for anybody that is spectating, hasn't talked in chat, if this is your first time, I'm just going to wait for the 5-minute after mark to give everyone a chance to see our notifications and filter in here, because sometimes the notification bot on the Discord is a little late, though it did pretty good today. And then at the 5-minute mark, I'm going to start the episode. And then stick around, because afterwards I'm going to do a Q&A. Happy to answer any questions about it. And I might have some actual insights into this one, since I DM'd this chapter. Also happy to just talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. But that said, we're doing good on time. How's everyone's Monday going? Mine has been pretty low-key. I worked really hard yesterday to try to free up today. I thought I was going to go to the museum because there's an exhibit that I was planning to see, but the tickets were sold out, so I ended up going out to brunch with my mom, which was a lot of fun. And then I just was so thick with potatoes that I had to lay down for a while afterwards, and now I'm here. Other than that, getting a lot of good work done. Yeah, just kind of same old stuff. Yeah, I was very happy to see her because she's been visiting my grandma, her mom, she was visiting for weeks. She was over there, and then she finally came back for like 5 or 6 weeks, and now she's heading back this week. And it's because her father just passed away this last fall, and she's helping her mom out with it, but which is very nice of her. Very, very eldest daughter kind of role there. But yeah, that's what's going on in my family's lives. So I was happy I was able to make time for her and see her before she heads back out. Yeah, I mean, I can always talk about it more. I don't usually talk about my personal stuff, but he was in his 90s, so it was a little surprising, but at the same time, it's not totally unexpected. It was a little sudden, but luckily she was already visiting them kind of when he got sick and went to the hospital, and so she was there for like the entire time, and she just prolonged her stay. She just canceled her flight back. That's what happened. Anyhow, Well, it is the 5 minute mark, and after that bummer of an intro, I'm gonna go ahead and start this, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
As the Fallow Crown nears the end of their quest, the Axis Caller crew are primed and ready to attempt extraction. If all goes according to plan, the crew will be able to use the so-called victory signal of the quest's completion to locate the Fallow Crown.
Forgive me, Rust, I'm just the simple son of a wealthy magnate, but why couldn't they just follow Yavos's nighttime brand dream umbilical right to the source?
Wow, that's actually an excellent question, Dirk.
Thanks, I've got a lot of them.
To answer your question, we have the one and only Strict and Light, Grand Archmagus of the Polyphasic Universe Theory, inventor of quintessence solidification technology, and the last student of Professor von Schreich before his disappearance. Welcome to the show, Magus Light. It is an honor and pleasure to have you here. I apologize for the Dirk. He comes with the desk.
Thank you, Mr. Rosborough. I've always been short-sighted when it comes to scry technology, so being here is truly eye-opening.
Nice.
Magus Light. In your book, Astrum and Ethereum, you posited that matter, ether, and astrum are all different phases of the same thing. This led to improved interplanar travel with short burst tunneling, gate beacon tech, quintessence conversion, and a slew of other developments. I'd hate to besmirch the name of the late great von Schreich, but it appears the student truly has become the master.
These days, the only thing I'm a master of is eating corn dogs, so I'll take the compliment if you've got some condiments.
Ha! Killing it.
Dirk, please.
Oh, Dirk what? I finally meet someone with goofs like Jaeger and I'm on fun time out?
Magus Light.
Strickton, please. Magnus Light sounds like a soda or an ointment.
Have you got buboes on your bugle? Smear a stickle of Magnus Light on the shaft and you're ready for a night in the town.
Now with raspberry, coconut, and ham.
Mate Strickton, questions abound regarding error in general and the battle axis in particular.
An infinite shaft whose every increment is more wonderful than the last. If there were gods in this plane, I'd assume they were compensating for something.
Heyo!
Sounds like the kind of gods my ex-wife would worship, eh? Eh? Eh?
Yikes, Rust.
Oof, anyway, you had a question.
Yes. Well,
Oh, by all the gods. Hey, Lightmeister, if we only have a scry signal because the League's crusty grandpa took a power nap, why can't we just follow the wet dream to the source?
Ha! Straight to the point. I like that.
I was getting to that.
Yeah, and I got there first.
To answer your question, in astral phase, energy takes on a more theoretical form. You see, it has no directionality because it's no three-dimensional space. Instead, you can think of it as being everywhere it could be all at once. Just because Mr. Isidore is in the Axis doesn't change the location of his astral form. Technically, following it to its source would just lead back to his bed.
And unless you're into GGG Dilfs, that's the last place you want to be.
Let me tell you, you'd be surprised what an old fogey like me can get up to, huh?
Let's just go to a commercial. We'll be back with more Strict and Light after this.
Your footsteps echo off the walls as the fallow crown makes its way across what is now the mirrored floor of the reflected Great Hall. The colossal double doors begin to slowly open, and their current orientation creates a ramp leading into the throne room. Iavos, your reflection, continues to look up at you from the floor, speaking casually. So we're dropping the pretenses then.
Why else would you need to bring us to the heart of this?
The pretense is the fun part. It's not the same without it.
Well, I'm dreadfully sorry to disappoint, but we are professionals.
I see. Well, one way or another, I have such beautiful things to show you.
Wish I was going to lean over to Gaspar and say, Yavos is looking down for a long time. He trying to look up our trousers.
I don't know if you really understand how trousers work, but didn't Iavos examine most of your body trying to figure out how it works? He's seen everything.
Well, sure, but Gasper, there's a time and a place.
You're right. We must be professionals.
As you cross into the next room, every surface of the throne room is mirrored, and at its heart is the ornate standing mirror that you saw in your visions, encased in a blooming burst of shards, almost as if frozen in time. As all of you cross the threshold, the doors slam closed.
Wusha is going to start and look back at the doors. Huh! Great. Now we're in here with that. Yavos, tell us you have some sort of idea of what's happening.
This entity has a mind, and it is up to us to destroy that mirror.
Wusha, roll perception.
I was literally about to say try not to look at it, but it's okay.
11.
As you look back at the doors as they shut, saying these things, you see a reflection mirrored back. It's not moving with you. It's smiling.
I'm going to point at it, furrow my brow, and say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, gargle on my briny balls."
Damn. Jesus. How long you been cooking that one up?
Oh, I've had it written down for a little while now.
There you go.
Calling attention to it. This time, all of you see the same thing. All of your reflections. They're just standing there, smiling. And then they begin to change. Their forms shift. Their flesh melts away into a different configuration. Mouths wide, full of yellowed teeth. Snub noses like hognose snakes. Empty hollows for eyes. And as they rise up along the walls, you see that they're not connected to the ground by feet, but by long tendrils, all leading to something you can't see. A puppet master of some kind. And then they leave the walls and enter your reality. I need everyone to roll for initiative.
There's a chance they let us go, right?
On it. It's a 16 for Zach.
Zach just shows up in the mirror.
Hello!
Sup, idiots?
Do we have to kill you again?
Yeah.
It's canon this time, though.
It didn't take.
How many times do we have to do this, old man?
Is every surface in this room mirrored?
Yes, are you going to make me regret that in a minute?
Probably.
So what'd y'all get real quick?
25.
10 less than that. 15.
Am I subtracting my crystal modifier?
You are. Your
Okay.
crystal math?
Yep.
Math addict?
I get a 19 using the crystal method.
Fuck, I thought I had good rolls.
Well, thanks to my -3, I have a 5.
Hey.
Hey, there we go. There we go. That's what it's meant to do.
There's that shitty old man vibe.
Gaspar, these grinning, hollow-eyed creatures are staring at you from different edges of the room, their tentacle-like bodies disappearing into the mirror. You're first. What do you do?
Watching them travel through the mirrors. I'm gonna load my crossbow. You're going to have to move faster than that if you want to stop me from breaking this thing. And I aim it towards the mirror encased in a bloom. I want to shoot the mirror. That is a 23 to hit the mirror.
Unsurprisingly, it doesn't dodge, but it pulses with aberrant energy that, for the time being, seems to protect it as your crossbow bolt glances off of it.
Well, that would have been too easy. That is the end of my turn.
All right. As you ponder what's going on, the lair action happens, and suddenly the mirror below your feet shifts, rolls, and several of the fallow crown fall through it. You sink through the floor, and as your feet right yourself on the other side, it doesn't seem unusual. Up is up, down is down. But as you look into the mirror at your feet, you don't see a reflection. You see Iavos and Hal. Beside you is Wusha. Your party's been split into opposite sides of this mirror.
So who's on one side together and who's on the other side together?
You are with Iavos currently.
Okay.
Oh no! Yavos and Hal have sunk into the floor!
That's correct. They have split the party.
Get out of here this instant, you young men! Wait, hold on.
Halophon, the creature nearest you, moves forward, gliding through this mirrored floor, and when it reaches you, it attempts to sink its teeth into your flesh. Does a 15 hit you?
A 15 does not. I block it with my shield.
Its teeth, sharp and yellow, dig into your shield, leaving imprints. But you manage to ward off its attack.
There's no way of knowing which one is the real mirror. Wusha, kick the shit out of that thing.
All right.
Do we hear through the mirror?
You do not hear through the mirror.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you for asking. But Hal hears you clearly, Iavos.
Damn, he doesn't hear me.
You look at our reflections and we're just pointing at you to come over to our side.
Curse his perpetual swimmers here.
At the end of its turn, it uses a legendary action, and glass shards burst from the floor, creating a shard wall.
Gadzooks.
Oh, cool.
Oh, boy.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's very good.
It is now Hal's turn.
Okay. I have a question before I take my turn.
Gasp.
Absolutely.
Actually, I probably have a number of questions, but does the mirror, it looks like it's like exploded with like a burst of stuff around it.
Mhm.
Does it look like it's anchored to the floor still, or is it sitting on top of the floor?
It is above the floor, technically, suspended in this body of crystalline-like growths.
Okay, so it's anchored.
Yes.
Got it. All right.
Yes, I understand your question now, cheater.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No, it's good thinking.
All right. Iavos, we're going to have to find a way to separate you and me. We might be the only ones who can control reality here. I haven't seen the other two do it yet. I'll handle this. You see if you can get back to the others. And I will rage. And that thing didn't move away from me, right?
No, it is still next to you.
I will fight it.
I like the idea that he was asking him. He's just not looking at it. He's like, it didn't move away, did it?
That's right
Is it
behind
still-
me, isn't it?
it's still there, isn't it?
Still there.
That's very good.
I will rage. I'll reckless attack. Do I still have a penalty for the crystal?
Technically.
Okay. 13 to hit.
Your attacks seem to slough off of it, or maybe it changes around them. It's hard to tell. It's a strange, almost amorphous creature.
Well, let's see if I can morph it.
Morphin time.
It's not morphin time. I rolled the same thing. That's another 13 to hit.
What weapon are you using?
Chivalric Edge.
The chivalric edge dances around it, but does not find purchase. It figures something that exists with all of these glass shards around it.
That's my action and my bonus action, so I will stay where I am so as to not provoke by moving away from it.
Sounds good. I've got another baddie.
And for the audience at home, they basically look like giant fleshy earthworms with dudes coming out of them. It's pretty cool.
There's
Freaking gnarly.
one hand coming out of the ground, too, which is fucking awesome. They kind of remind me of that creature from the bottom of the well in Ocarina of Time.
On the other side of the mirror, the creature on Gaspar's side uses a dash action to race up to Gaspar. Unfortunately, it does not have anything left in it for an attack. But at the end of its turn, another wall of shards erupts from the floor. It is now Wusha.
So we are each trapped with two of these things. Can Wusha still tell which one was mimicking who when they first were standing in the mirrors? Or have I completely lost track of that? I'd be fine either way.
Since you traveled through the mirror, you've lost track of it.
Perfect. I am going to turn to the one that ran up to Gaspar, that is adjacent to me. I'm going to crook my foot back and scream, I liked you better when you were me! I'm going to kick it twice. I haven't used my bonus action, so I'm going to Hunter's Mark it first, and then kick it twice. Fuck my ass. Well, the first one is a 1, so that's fun. And the second one is a crit.
Balanced, as all things should be.
It's really the backswing you got to look out for.
Right? Oh, my butt.
First one was a fake out.
So with my new Piercer feat, I do 3 times weapon damage on a critical hit on things that do piercing damage instead of 2. So this is going to be 5d8 plus 4 damage.
That is disgusting.
Yeah.
And if it's a construct, isn't it like an extra 2d8?
I think so, but this is, I don't think this is a construct.
It's made of way too much flesh for me to assume construct.
You should have done that against the mirror.
Probably.
But that would imply that he could follow my direction.
Yes. I'm not going to metagame, Zach.
Fair.
Oh my God. 17 plus 2 more. 28 damage to it.
But what about a reroll?
You're right. You're right. I'm still getting used to this new ability. One moment. Add 5 to that.
33?
33 plus, I apologize, the kick axe does an extra d8 fire damage. So that is 2 more d8 damage coming up.
Isn't it 3 more? Because you times 3?
Only on piercing damage.
Ah.
Yeah. So where was I? 33. 3. Thank you. Plus 10. 43 damage.
Fuckity fuck.
Good fucking God, man.
That's a kick.
That is one hell of a kick.
Damn. Put this thing in the fucking toilet.
I'm working on it.
You pierce with your kickaxe what moments ago was an abdomen. Silver fluid leaks out onto the floor before turning black. You hear a hissing scream come from its mouth as a tongue flails about.
Looks like this mirror failed its reflect save.
I am going to look at Gaspar and I'm going to say, you want to try some of that tricky shit? I got things covered here.
There's not much tricky shit for me to do. It's all blades.
I believe in you. Woosha done.
The next creature in the initiative holds back. It does not charge you, simply summoning another wall of shards. Iavos, it's your turn.
Oh, geez. How high up do these shard walls go? These pointy barriers?
They are much higher and denser than the miniature would suggest. It is more like an ice wall or a wall of force.
Gotcha.
Although Iavos, as you reflect on the situation, your affinity with the mirrors grants you 2 unique actions if you choose to use them. With your bonus action, you can choose to either reflect, move one creature from map A to map B or vice versa in the same position, or crystallize, create a wall section on map A and place another one in the same position on map B. Once all wall sections are in play, you may instead move one wall section and its counterpart to any position.
I can only move one after I've created another one? Is that what I'm getting?
I basically have 4 sections, and once they're all in play, instead of them having to disappear or anything, you can just move one instead of summoning a new one. One more is yet to be summoned.
Right, I get that. I just mean I don't have the option to move one yet until they're all down.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay. It's so tricky. Okay. So, and that's great because part of what I was thinking involved basically exactly that. So that's good. The question is, do I want to take my action before I try to swap sides or vice versa? Because I wanted to really maximize my output. I'm going to try to play it smart and see if that helps. But I also have some evidence to go off of that it's not the best idea. This is so hard. I have too many options. And I just want to, because I have a very finite amount of spell slots. Okay. I am going to shift 5 feet to my right, putting my body on Gaspar's reflection and I'm going to attempt to trade places with Gaspar.
I hadn't considered that, but I love it so much that works. Great play.
I'll move the miniatures in a minute. Right now, I'm Gaspar.
All right, Gasper, on the counter. Ah!
Now, as much as my ambition is to destroy this evil mirror, the current wiggly dudes are a much bigger threat to our progress. So I'm going to point my finger at the one on the other side of this barricade, and I'm going to unleash my first ever real 3rd level spell. I'm going to cast Lightning Bolt, but I'm going to use a spell secret to change that lightning into a blast of thunder, a cone of pure sonic energy blasting through the barricade, hopefully, and into that creature. If not, passing through the cracks would suffice.
God damn.
How do you feel about that?
However you want to do it. If you want to say it passes through reflective surfaces instead of reflecting off of them to double hit something, I'm compelled to say, yes, please hit my monster once.
My intent was to see if I can destroy these barriers with sonic energy, and if I can, it would follow through and also hit the creature. But if I learn that I cannot bypass this wall, I will have learned a lot about what I can do with my magic.
Let me check the wall's hit points.
Counter offer. Turn it into radiant and hit everybody in the room.
There you go.
I don't have a spell that can do that. Send a fireball.
Yeah.
No, just because it's going to bounce everywhere.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, remember the room is fully mirrored, so there's thousands of images of us on all surfaces right now.
All right. You don't know the stats on this wall, but if you'd like to attempt that, you can certainly attempt it.
I will. As I trade places with Gaspar, I'll say, "Prepare yourself, Wusha. This might be really stupid." And as I manifest the electricity, I take the lightning bolts and I fold them in on themselves so they create thunder, and I let it out in a straight line. So the first thing that happens is it hits the wall. Obviously, it doesn't get a dex save because it is made of stuff.
It has a very low dexterity, yes.
Okay, great. Am I rolling damage?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Not bad. Come back. I need you very much. Okay, 27, 11, so 29. 29 thunder damage to the wall and potentially the creature on the other side of the wall, if things go well for me.
What's the range on your lightning bolt?
60 feet straight line.
Isn't it
Actually, no, it's
100
90.
foot?
It's 120 foot straight line.
Yeah. Lightning bolt slaps.
I forgot I hadn't. I was thinking of the lightning javelin.
Ah.
There are 2 learnings from this.
I love learnings. I'm very pro learning.
The first is that this magical spell was not powerful enough to reach the creature,
Okay, that's a shucks, but we keep rocking.
but it was powerful enough to virtually shatter this wall of shards, which has 30 hit points, by the way.
Okay.
What's left is brittle, falling apart, crumbling to pieces of loose glass on the floor. The wall is effectively destroyed.
Neat. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for when the time comes to try to destroy the thing encasing the mirror. But for now, the priority remains wiggly dudes. So that is my turn.
Good plan, Yavos. Stupid's still my favorite kind of thing.
The last turn of the round goes to the creature that you just tried to attack. Its grin becomes even wider as it disappears into the floor and joins its companion at your side. More of the creature next to you rises from the mirrored floor into your view, and a single trunk body full of wild limbs and many heads rises, all ready to attack.
And we're back with Stricton Light. Tell me, Stricton, what makes Error so unique a plane?
Aside from the obvious, such as the battle axis itself, the infinite nature of its dimensions, and the total lack of higher life, Error is, for all intents and purposes, dead.
As in, the scene has moved on and the nightlife is just roller discos and pubs named after the owner? I mean, look, if I wanted to spend my night inside of Jeff, I'd hit the roller disco.
No, you melon with hair. Dead as in a corpse.
Exactly. Every plane is teeming with Materium, Astrum, and Ethereum. Now, there's some that are infinite, but however far out you go, there's a layer of these three phases of energy. But here, there are entire sections of the surface that are completely devoid of Astrum and Ethereum. Materium aplenty, but nothing else.
Could this have something to do with the lack of plural life?
See, now you're asking the right questions, but the real hard one is, what died first? The plane or the gods? And more importantly, why?
Ooh, I know this one.
It's not a joke, Dirk.
I'm sure I can make it one if you give me enough time.
You mentioned that the plane itself is infinite. I wish I could blame my ignorance on my singular soul, but in truth, math was never my strongest subject. But tell me, how can something material be infinite?
I mean, technically it can. Not in the real physical sense of the word. Infinity is mostly a theoretical concept. It exists in calculation, but not so much when you apply it to the physical world. We got some infinities, but not quite the way you think. It's too much. However, if the concentration of astral energy is strong enough, it doesn't need to be physical. You remember what I said earlier about astrum taking more theoretical form, right?
Of course.
I'm not gonna lie, I stopped paying attention at this isn't a joke, Dirk.
Well, here on Era, the farther out you go, the higher the concentration of astrum. Which means that even though the land beneath you keeps on going, this is only because the astral forces and your mind's interaction with them are manifesting the next step. And even more interesting is that those places, sites, and landmarks are all very real. They exist, but where they are and when they manifest is entirely up to probability and the presence of a being experiencing them.
So it's as though a strong enough astral cloud could almost store reality, and our perception of it manifests the next section of that reality.
Look, Rost, I'd be lying if I said that was a perfect summation, but it's as close as we're gonna get the two of you without years of training and study in phasic reality theory, metaphysics, and math.
Jeez, this interview went from laugh riot to math class. Let's go to commercial before it becomes a dentist appointment.
We're about to witness a planar phenomenon, a keyhole between worlds that only marketing can penetrate. Join me as we glimpse into the Adverse.
Portland and Pacific Northwest cuties. This January 23rd, Wayfinder Brewery is hosting a 21 and over Dungeons & Dragons event called Goblin Up. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., you can have a seat at a table with a local professional dungeon master to run you through an epic one-shot D&D adventure, including myself, Zach Barkus, Max Hobbs, and other great local DMs you may recognize from past D20 Questions episodes. $70 gets you a ticket to play with the pros and a 3-course dinner. Find the QR code for ticket sales at the LUQ.com and the Wayfinder Brewery website. Let them know you're a fan of the show. And keep your eye out on Twitter. Starting today, when this episode comes out, we'll be doing an LUQ giveaway for 1 ticket to the event. But the window to enter will be short. We hope to see you there. Hey, LU cuties. I missed you. Even though in audio form I exist outside of time. Anyway, visit the LUQ.com. It's a simple request, but I promise you'll be the one that benefits from this exchange if you're looking for cool LUQ stuff, like actor bios, photos from behind the scenes, links to our merch page, and the upcoming Wayfinder Goblin Up event. Not to mention the Patreon. This is where you can go to support the show and help ensure that it keeps getting made. Check out the top tier rewards. You can make a character to join the LUQ-verse or get mentioned in the following list with our legendary mid-roll teams, which are the Titans Rise, the Ceaseless Horde, and this week's featured team, the Twilight Concord, with Maisie, Mike Gordon, Big Boy Roy, and Caitlin Oliver. For personal messages or advertising opportunities, reach out to admin@slap-studios.com. Don't forget to follow us at twitch.tv/slap-streams for Monday night premieres of new episodes and other streaming throughout the week. Our temporary mailing address while waiting for a new P.O. Box is 2511 Southeast Pine Street, Portland, Oregon 97214. And there's even more juicy LUQ news and events happening in the near future. So remember not to skip the mid-roll. If you don't listen to me, I cease to exist. Just kidding. I love you anyway. But that's enough out of me. Let's get you back to that there battle axis. Do you suffer from ailments, maladies, symptoms? New prescription Remedol might be right for you. Side effects of Remedol include butt rot, grave mouth, excess milk, hydrogen allergies, thigh gaps, spicy tits, brain gas, runaway nipples, ear blindness, wet leavings, dungeon taint, loose shits, brick shits, lip shits, mudlust, tropical howlers, long flaps, squat goblins, blood migration, and heavy trumpeting. For long-lasting side effects, increasing your dose of Remedol makes sense to us. We're not doctors, we just make Remedol. Remedol, it's a pill.
A giant of writhing flesh and teeth rises from the floor next to Iavos. It's the top of the round. Gaspar, how do you save the day?
Well, I have to do some tricky shit. I've been stewing. I've been brewing. So looking at this throne in which the mirror is embedded into, how high off the ground would you say it is? Not too high, right?
The mirror?
Yeah.
Once again, it is anchored in the middle of a crystal, but it is not high, maybe 5, 8 feet tops.
Yeah, but it's blooming, so it's not actually in... There's no crystal in front of the mirror, or is there?
It is
it
fully
full?
Embedded in a cluster, in a three-dimensional cluster of crystal.
Oh, okay. That completely negates my tricky shit. Fuck! Since Iavos instantly bought me some space, bringing me into this side of the mirror, with nothing truly threatening me, I'm just going to aim towards the creature that has engaged with Halifon. Bide my time, and shoot it before it can disappear into the walls and other surfaces.
Please do.
Fuck it up.
That is a 27 to hit.
Barely. That's a very good hit. To what degree do you fuck up his day?
That is 30 points of damage.
Damn.
And as the arrow strikes it, there is the sound of a small ceramic piece shattering in Gaspar's pocket.
Ooh.
Interesting.
At which point, on top of one of the other grinning hollow-eyed creatures is a skeleton with a glass shard morning star that bashes into this thing's head.
Cool.
That's fun and neat.
That's very cool.
I love it.
The creature screams with a voice that sounds like the whistling of a tea kettle.
And it does 8 points of necrotic damage before finally fizzling away.
It thrashes around, flailing in the air.
It has been laid to rest. That is the end of my turn.
As the skeleton melts away, the creature remains, and it is its turn. For its turn, it dives back into the floor, unwilling to contend with both you and Halifon.
Do I get to make an opportunity attack against it as it leaves?
Yeah, take it.
All right.
Thank you for asking.
17 to strike.
In this form, that hits.
All right. It is going to take...
Sentence makes my ears feel bad.
Takes 9 slashing and 2 radiant damage, and its speed's reduced to 0 because I have Sentinel.
God, that's such a dick move. It fucks me up every time. I love it.
As it starts to merge into the floor, Hal sweeps his sword through, bouncing it off the mirrored surface. It flashes with radiant light, and I sever the tendrils that it's trying to extend into the other space and leave it flopping on the ground in front of me, no longer connected to anything.
It withers and blackens in the mirrored floor, and the creature across the room from you rises from its position, bearing 3 more heads, one of which severed at the stump.
Oh, God, there's more. God, they're so juicy.
At the same time, the lair action triggers, pushing Wusha onto the map with Halifon and Gaspar.
Oh, boy.
I would like to note to the public that I am not cool being by myself with this thing.
Next is Hal.
Is it an action to try and go through the floor?
Here is the skinny for you, Hal. You have been inoculated with shards,
Mm-hmm.
you can attempt to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you succeed, you will go up to 4 points of glass curse.
Okay.
And if you succeed, it will no longer do that.
I won't keep gaining points every time I use it. Is that what you mean by it'll no longer do that?
Yes, once you succeed at doing it, you will no longer accrue additional points to your curse.
Okay. Is there a creature right next to Iavos?
Yes.
Is Gaspar still standing directly opposite Iavos in this room?
Yes, you, Wusha, and Gaspar are all clustered together. There are no creatures nearby you. There is one on the other side of a wall from you.
Okay.
And then on the other map, it is just Iavos making out with this hell beast.
Okay. All right.
Macking down.
As Wusha appears in my area, I'll look at him and say, Whoosh,
Oi.
break the mirror.
All right.
I run towards Gaspar, and as I approach Gaspar, I go down to slide on my knees and attempt to merge through the floor and pop out on the other side.
Okay, please make me a wisdom roll.
Do I have advantage or no?
You don't.
I did at one point, but I think I'm too dumb for
Your
that.
reflection was helping you.
Ah, that's why.
In this room, there is no help.
All right.
Only Wiggle Boys.
They're the wiggliest.
This is just the nastiest hydras ever. It's like a hydra made of foreskin.
I could just hear like their
awesome.
gross, like harmonizing, like fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
Okay, funny story. The miniature is actually called a false hydra, and they do sing.
I hate that.
Yeah, false hydras are a thing.
Yeah.
They do really look like nasty dicks.
Satan's barbershop.
I'm trying to see if there's any sort of juice that I can throw on this. I don't think that there is. Yeah, nope. I can't add anything to this, so I just get my +3 from mirror stuff, right?
That is correct, you do.
No, I gained a 4th one, didn't I? When I got stabbed.
No, you managed to avoid gaining another one.
Okay. +3 -1. 18.
You made it. You are now up to 4 points, but you also sink through the mirror and appear next to Iavos
All right.
and the creature.
Hal slides on his knees, disappearing into the floor right before he gets to Gaspar and emerging just on the other side of Iavos. Is there room for me to interpose between him and the other creature or no?
There is not.
Okay.
You are in a dirty triangle.
You could, in the fact that Iavos is insubstantial and therefore could stand inside of him and take damage.
That is a good point. If you would like to be inside Iavos, you can.
So emerging from the floor next to Iavos, Hal will do what he can to interpose himself and his shield between this creature and Iavos to defend his ally. And I will make 2 strikes against this creature that is menacing my wizard and cleric.
Please de-menace my bad boy.
All right. Still reckless. I need it if my other attacks were any indication. Whew. A 10 and a 1. So the 10 becomes 18 -4 for 14.
The magic number was 17,
Whew.
and you did not meet it.
Okay. I'm going to have a hard time hitting. Second strike. This one is an 18 total.
You hit.
Ha ha! Die, beast. Is this thing damaged at all yet?
The party has dealt a total of 93 damage to a yet unknown number of creatures.
I see. I'm going to pump a first level Divine Smite into the strike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I see no reason not to.
That seems very prudent.
Yep. So Hal busts through the floor with this huge upward vertical slice and just cleaves into this thing, I guess on the backswing because I missed my first strike. Dealing 14 points of slashing damage plus 14 radiant. So 28 total.
Vertical slice sounds like a new kind of soda.
It's in a really wide can.
No, it's an IV bag that you hang above yourself and just put the straw in your mouth.
It's a slice, but it's cloud flavored.
Because I hit in the mirrors around me, you can see spectral images of other LUQ heroes all striking and harassing this thing, but none of them are visible where I am right now.
Harassing, like heckling?
No, like menacing.
Heckling.
Just imagine Stormclad being like, 4 heads ain't better than 1. Like,
There's two. They're old and wrinkly, and they're sitting in an opera booth just opposite.
okay.
That may become important, so.
It is now the creature's turn, who you just struck. And its attention has left Iavos, and all 4 heads are focused on you, Halifon.
Good.
It begins by using its bonus action to send Iavos to the other side of the mirror.
I'm okay with that.
And then, as the creature pulls the rest of its body through this aperture, it is with enough force that all of the shard walls shatter, and you are left facing a behemoth of flesh and bone and blade. Its myriad of heads begin to thrash and flail, all of them attempting to bite you, to tear you apart, to rend the skin from your body, to create something beautiful.
It has advantage on every attack.
You're shitting me.
Jesus Christ.
I use
Chris.
reckless attack. That's how it works.
Well, that's not the most opportune time to get soloed by a boss monster.
Yeah.
That's right. I believe in him. He's up all night to get lucky.
The first attack rolls a 24.
That hits.
It does 11 piercing damage
Okay.
and 4 psychic damage.
Oh, good.
It bites you more.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
The next head strikes. 25.
Will hit. My AC is 17 if you just want to save yourself time.
It does 11 piercing damage and 1 psychic damage.
Where has this creature been all my life?
Inside you all along.
Between your legs.
Yeah.
This nest of dicks.
All with faces.
Whenever I look
It's
at
the
Zach, I
dick
do
king.
think Hydra penis.
Its next attack hits as well, dealing 15 piercing damage and 3 psychic damage.
Christ. God.
It's a good thing I was at full health.
Are you still up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I haven't taken very much damage until just then.
All right. It ends its turn. That makes it Wusha. Wusha, you are in a room with Gaspar and Iavos and nothing else. On the other side of the mirror beneath your feet, you see this behemoth tearing into your friend, rending him to pieces.
I'm going to look at Gaspar and Iavos and say, either of you ever heard of a right whale?
I have, yeah.
That's the wrongest whale there is. I'm going to move away from the wrong whale toward the big shard with the mirror in the middle. Wanting to honor Hal's last request, I rock the kickaxe back and say, better hope this works, and cast Ensnaring Strike on my leg with the intention to kick this thing, burst vines out, and have them continue to crush it.
I love it.
Hell yeah. Let's go! That's a 13 and a 23.
It does not dodge. Feel free to roll your damage, and feel free to roll your additional damage versus constructs.
Sick. Shocked it didn't dodge. All right. Let's roll out my normal damage first. Let's see. We're looking at 11 damage from that so far, plus the extra 2 from it being a construct, which is 4, so that's 15, plus the extra 1 from fire, which is 6, so that's 21, plus 4 is 25 piercing and fire damage to it. Then the vines erupt around it, and it has to make a strength saving throw. If it's a larger creature, it has advantage on the saving throw.
The crystal doesn't budge. It doesn't shatter. But a crack from where you kicked it snakes along it.
Vines are going to erupt out and wrap around it, and it's going to take d6 damage at the start of each of its turns. Also, I roll damage from only one attack. I should probably roll damage from the second attack, too.
Jesus Christ. My boy.
+4, 27 damage from that one.
Duly noted. It holds strong, but your vines pull at it. And you imagine that you hear a slight creaking sound.
I hate furniture! My turn's over.
You go before me, right?
Next is Iavos.
Iavos moves 20 feet to the left, looking through the reflection and lining up the room very carefully, and then saying, Gaspar, to me, please. Let's kill this motherfucker.
I want to shoot it in all 8 of its heads.
We will. So on your turn, what I want you to do is run into me.
We prepare a glory move.
We're going to use the shard stopper.
The shard stopper.
I'm going to hold my action until you run to me.
So it's my turn now, right? Unless there's a legendary action.
Not until after your turn.
All right. With Iavos calling the play, Gaspar will follow it. I run towards Iavos, into him.
When his body passes the threshold of my ectoplasmic form, I'm going to possess him and use my bonus action to flip to the other side of the mirror where Hal and the behemoth are. And using my held action, I'm going to target all of the shrapnel I created by destroying this wall and hurl a 4th level catapult at this creature. But because Gaspar is controlling the body, I'm letting him aim it and try to get sneak attack damage on top of it.
All right. I love that for you and hate that for me. Feel free to roll what you got to roll.
So you get to attack with a +4 to hit.
Okay. +4. That is a 22 to hit.
Oh,
Wait. Oh, an extra +4.
On top of your
Okay, yeah,
normal
it's much higher. It's high.
Oh yeah, it's additional 4 to your normal ranged attack bonus.
Yeah, okay. So it's a 32 to hit.
And its armor class is merely 18.
So if you want to roll sneak attack plus 3d4 from the glory, I will roll the damage for a 4th level catapult.
Yeah.
As Gasparovos, Iavar, the Gaspar Iavos hybrid teleports into the room. Hal catches this out of the corner of his eye in the mirror and smiles at this creature and says, Success in a room full of mirrors, and you still couldn't pay attention to what you should have been watching out for. As the explosion begins behind him.
That's a good start. Clonky.
11, 21, 24, 27, 35.
So we both did exactly 35 damage, which means together, Gazpacho,
yeah.
Gazpacho deals 70 damage with our combo move to the reflection monster, the flesh boy, the big wiggle fuck off,
the big wiggle,
biggest wiggus.
All of the heads are moving their jaws, eyes fixed on Halifon, when suddenly a new figure emerges from the floor and delivers this attack. A flurry of shards cuts through the creature, grinding it to pulp as blood sprays all over Halifon from head to toe, covering every inch of him in viscous silver liquid that darkens to a black ichor. As all of the pieces fall to the mirrored floor with wet slaps, they dissipate, become reflections once more, and separate. And you see them transforming back into all sorts of people, the denizens of a castle long, long ago. And this creature dispelled. You see the glass all around the room begin to crack and fall. A hail of razor-sharp flecks. Similarly, the glass encasing the mirror is suddenly crushed in the vines of Wusha's entanglement, leaving it exposed for you to do whatever you wish with it.
If this is what stands in the way between me and getting the hell out of the Axis so I can get Pen back, I'm going to kick the shit out of this mirror.
Oh, it shits. You cock back your kickaxe and deliver one final blow, shattering the mirror. You hear crashing from every direction as this releases its hold on the entire castle. As the room begins to melt away, you find yourself reunited with your friends once more, all on the correct side of the mirror.
The ghost of Iavos gets vomited out of Gaspar's stump, and he's like on his hands and knees on the ground. Oh, so edgy, but cool.
As the last piece of glass falls from the frame of the silver mirror, you see that it opens into a new place. Not this castle, not even the mirror world. Maybe an exit. Maybe someplace new. Hopefully, someplace good. And as all of you go hand in hand and walk into whatever lies next for you, the last thing you remember is realizing that Wusha's kickaxe is on the wrong leg.
We're back with Strict and Light, the preeminent scholar and authority on phasic reality theory. Earlier, you mentioned that the plane of error is dead, citing the lack of astrum and etherium. However, you also mentioned that these reach greater concentrations the farther you go out from the center. If that's the case, are the outer reaches alive?
One might think so, but no. When I cited the energy levels of the center, it was merely an example of the death of the plane. The greater issue is that the population, which we know so little about due to able-8 restrictions on surface landing, generates so little contestants, and what little they do make is almost immediately consumed or dissipated.
Consumed?
Exactly. You no doubt aware of Leviathans, yes? These creatures are the closest things to gods in error, and most of the contestants these creatures are generating goes to them. To put it bluntly, the souls of Errites are weak and incomplete. This isn't to say they are less than us, but rather that their plane is so energy poor that they are not a viable food source for any higher life.
Food source. An apt description, but rarely is the quintessence cycle put so bluntly.
And yet, that's exactly what it is. Energy moving from one place to another. Our bodies are designed to consume life and convert it to quintessence. And quintessence is harvested by higher beings, which use it for fuel for their existence.
I am afraid to ask, but where does it come from? If physics explains calories and conservation of energy, how is it that we generate this tremendous resource without losing energy in the process?
There are many theories. The most notable being that quintessence is manifested from the membranes and venous structures of the greater cosmos. That the ley lines and the tethers, or whatever you want to call them, supply quintessence to a plane from some energy source that we don't know about. The hard answer is, we don't know.
Fellas, I hate to interrupt, but I think we have some breaking news.
Dirk, if you fart, I swear to all the lords above and below.
Warren, please. This is serious.
What does it mean? I mean,
I love it.
What hump?
did we get a false whoosh?
Welcome to Mirror Wusha.
Shaw woo!
Damn it, I was about to say.
Ass woo.
All right, well, now I got to build ass woo, so thank you.
Ooh, ass woo.
I hope you like being left-handed, bitch.
No, my dominant hand. That was fucking awesome.
Beautifully done, Dana.
These minis and mechanics are very fun and good for me.
Crazy.
I love the growing, developing mini over the course of the fucking combat. Awesome. Perfect. Excellent.
It's just like there's no way there's one more. Like, yeah, they're bigger and juicier and wetter than the last one.
Each one was grosser than the last. It's perfect.
It's my nesting doll of disgusting things.
There you go. Let's
Russian,
go around.
Russian nesting dong. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's go around the table and talk about our favorite moments.
Ooh. I mean, I gotta go with the enemy like scaling up. As soon as it happened the first time, I just knew. I was like, Dana's gonna deliver. She has to. And boy, look at that monster. Ugh.
Yeah, Dana really jumped the megalodon on that one.
I really like big minis.
Yeah.
They're never big enough.
And I cannot lie.
Size queen over here. Come
I
on.
am.
You other DMs cannot lie.
Ooh woo.
God. My highlight, my best moment has to go to like a conceptual thing. Dana, usually when I walk into a game and see a conflict, see a whatever, a fight that's just in a flat plane with like nothing there, it's rarely something super engaging and something fun. You're just running around smacking the crap out of things. The fact that you added so many cool layers of interaction and engagement to what is essentially just a flat plane was fucking awesome. The traversal and the way to like attack the enemies, the things we had in front of us, the options we had were fantastic. This was just, you nailed it. It was awesome.
It's also really cool, like sensory wise.
Yeah.
People listening won't be able to pick up on this, save for maybe a photo or two we share. But the battle mats are actually mirrors, so having an actual like visual reflection of the battle for us while we're doing it, it really does kind of add a sinking sensation, a two-sidedness.
It was extremely unexpected, which is perfect for weird mirror fight.
It also makes this giant mini look twice as big.
Yes, it
True.
does.
It's
It
fair.
has 8 juicy cock heads.
It's very disgusting.
It's so good.
Michael?
I liked the shard stopper move as a finisher. The just grabbing all of the little bits of debris and just reverse wood chippering it, basically. Like that was a cool. I was possessing Gaspar in order to cast the spell on the right side and everything. That was a cool way to end that fight.
Yes.
Right, and a wonderful way to kind of cheat teleporting 2 people. Like that's
Yeah, I
very,
was trying to
very
think
good.
like, how can I get Gaspar on that side to fuck this thing up? I'm like, wait,
I love it.
it's my brain that lets me through. I'll make my brain his brain.
Thank you all so sincerely for these compliments. It's very, very nice. To just kind of explain, I know you weren't expecting like this kind of gross skinless flesh monster. And the idea with that is that all of the reflections of the inhabitants of the castle were kind of melded together and reshaped into this thing.
Yeah, as soon as you were saying like, oh, this mirror literally fucking ate their reflections and turned it into that, I'm like, that's sinister.
That's where it came from. And it's hard to describe that when you see it, but that's where it came from. That's why it's so fleshy in a place that's fundamentally not fleshy. And yeah, this monster too is not the mirror. It's a whole thing. And my favorite thing, Iavos, was a first time you pushed kind of the boundary of the rules I set up for you and swapped places with Gaspar. Because when I was coming up with those rules, I didn't even think of that possibility. What happens if you're on the same space as another creature? And that's fresh as hell. I loved it.
I mean, maybe it's just body dysmorphia, but when I look in a mirror, that's what I see.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been chiming in on everyone else's favorite moments, so I felt like I already dropped one. But I guess, I feel like we've set a precedent now that like if you're going to run like a big boss fight, that has to have some kind of cool mechanics or flair to it, and it just keeps getting better. And it's candy to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful.
One more note I'd like to say is that this castle has a fully fleshed background, and it is called Mithrazel.
Sick.
All the things y'all will never know about this castle.
Sorry, Wusha was
The
so
deep lore.
impatient at the beginning. He had places to be.
Oh no, it's great. Okay, so at the very, very beginning of the dungeon, I'm glad y'all killed some time there because I gave you 2 doors and you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to go through the right one. I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to go through the correct door and just go. So props.
For me, the obvious highlight is not having to run a dungeon. Any opportunity in which I don't have to put a whole shitload of thought into what's going on is absolutely a fucking delight. But more specifically, I love that you managed to make a dungeon that is very, very my style, with the body horror and the cool like existential shit and like the mirrors. A lot of the visuals are very similar things that I really enjoy.
I actually agree with that. Like when I sat down to make a dungeon, just because of the context of it being this season of LUQ, I wrote it in your style.
WWZD.
There you go. Well, you did beautifully, and I fucking love everything about these minis and all this other stuff, and I hope it wasn't too expensive.
Oh, no, I enjoy this.
I have a feeling you're going to get a lot of use out of these.
Like, I'm not going to be able to use the, 14-foot dick monster again.
Admittedly. Well, thank you, Sam Hediger, the editor, for editing this episode. Let's go ahead and go around the table and hear from everybody on their stuff. If anybody's got any announcements or anything.
Oh, no. I'm Angelo Kaluag. I play Gaspar, possessed by a Yava ghost.
Gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
Somehow it's the right answer.
It's a soup.
What
exactly?
There was
but
no
it's a cold,
other
deadly soup.
Yeah, it's perfect.
no other possibility.
My name is Max Hobbs. I play Wusha Brian Child, the Wandering Tide. Go also check me out on Help Action, help-action.com, or wherever the fuck you want to find me on the internet. Dungeon Master Max, pretty much anywhere. I guess also I'm about to have a baby. That's cool.
Hell yeah.
That's fun and exciting. Yeah.
Baby schmacks.
Little bit. It'll probably be extant by the time this episode comes out.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
Michael?
My name is Michael Loving. I play Halifon Orson Jr. My wife and I will have no more babies. 2 is enough for us. Thank you very much.
That's fair.
You can find me OG_Captain_Mel on Twitter. Yeah, it's where you can keep up on the various things that I'm doing, most often with God's Fall or Kill Every Monster, but maybe some other stuff in the future. Or on Hive, where I got in early enough that I'm just Captain_Mel. Actually, I think it's all Captain Mel. I don't think they let me have an underscore. I don't remember. But I didn't have to throw extra fucking characters into it because people who don't even use their handle got my name first. Twitter.
I am Dana Ebert. I am this chapter's dungeon girl, not playing any characters aside from my little wiggly boys. I'm up to all the regular stuff. You all know what's up. Just enjoy not hearing my ad for the last few weeks at this point. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then when we're open, come visit us. But I'm on social media. It's all the same stuff as before. I haven't migrated from Twitter yet. I'll let you know if I do. I don't currently plan to.
I'm still on Twitter until it collapses, but
Yeah, when it collapses, I'm not sure I will set up in a new home, but if I do, y'all will hear it.
It'll only collapse if you leave.
I don't even know what Twitter is.
I don't use Twitter.
My name is Law. I played Iavos Isadora, the scion of the Withering Acre. And I almost played Iavos. I'm getting closer. Every game, I'm getting closer to playing and back to normal Iavos.
I have almost.
Yeah. And I'm creative director of Slapdash. Everything that I do, you can see with Slapdash stuff usually. We're going to try to start streaming more soon. And hopefully, the cuties and me can do some Pokemon raids soon.
Hell yeah. I'm Zach Marcus. I was not Dungeon Boy today, but I just provided an extra voice and a lot of extra distraction. Turns out an ADHD person sitting at a desk with a bunch of weird fidget toys isn't a great fucking idea. Sorry for the extra noise. Sorry for the extra distractions, but I hope you've enjoyed my presence anyway. I am also the technical director for Slapdash Studios and the typical Dungeon Boy, the usual Dungeon Boy. But I wanted to mention that we've got some pretty big projects coming down the line. We are looking to make some pretty big changes. We're hoping to do some more shows, more podcasts, more streams, more everything. But in order for that to work, we're going to need your guys' help because the fact is none of us are getting paid, not properly. So if you have a moment, just jump on our Patreon and give us $1. It's $1. Trust me, $1 a month. You'll barely notice it, but it'll make a huge difference for us. So please consider giving us something on that front. And if you do, you can guarantee you'll see a lot more new shit coming out for us because I've got some projects that I'm working on. I already said this, but thank you, Hediger the Editor, for editing this episode that was a little longer than we have been trying to make them, but not insufferable. And until next time, we wish you luck.
And I am back. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I was reading your comments. Yeah, no, that was a pretty good outro. So I did post pictures of the miniatures in in the Discord. I have pictures of those. It's from when I was painting them. They were like just painted. I had lots of them, but I just posted a picture of like one of each type. I had like one big one, and then like more medium ones, and then like a ton of small ones. For pictures of the actual battle map and the actual fight, I know Law and Zach took some, however they choose and whenever they choose to release those. But I can go ahead and share these because they're going on my Instagram anyway at some point. But yeah, oh yeah, definitely look forward to like the next 8 episodes. Honestly, are all fire. Like every recording session has been so good. Yeah, you're gonna like it. But yeah, so for the battle map was mirrored. I bought like 1-inch mirrored tile for doing like walls and stuff, or mosaics. So it's just like 1-inch squares that were mirrored, and it was like adhesive on the back. And so I made 2 identical battle maps, and the idea was that they were reflections of each other, and things happened on both sides. I really wanted to do something dynamic with things happening on both sides, but the mechanics of it did not come together on my time and budget. But it was yeah, there might be pictures of it at some point. It was pretty fun. And then I have already shared pictures of a lot of my like glass terrain, and then the Skelly Boys from number 1. But one things I'm actually really happy about with this dungeon was the mechanical through line, because like I said, that skeleton fight was it's not meant to seriously imperil anybody. It was set to like hard, not deadly, by CR standards, and it was really intended to get people the first like negatives, because hitting caused that wisdom saving throw from the glass and like accrued that stack. The skill challenge was basically the same, where they're gonna get through no matter what. I didn't have like a success number, but every failure they have to make that same saving throw or touch the glass, and so that score kept climbing. Also for Hal and Iavos, like when they tried to use the mirror powers. And so that cumulative score was, for regular things, a negative to all their d20 rolls. But in that last fight, there was that list of special actions that Iavos could take, because he was the only one that succeeded on manipulating the Mirrorverse. And to use those actions, that score was also mirrored. So it was a plus, 4 or 5 instead of minus. So that's that was kind of the overarching mechanical design of the dungeon. And then the boss monster called the Anantiavor could do all that stuff, and then some additional stuff, which included creating more monsters and like upgrading monsters and things like that. You didn't ask, but I anticipated that there'd be some dungeon design questions, and that's kind of how it went. And then the aesthetic layer on top of that is of course like all the stuff with the reflection and things like that. And yeah, and this dungeon as a whole was it was an experiment for me. I was experimenting with running a kind of a ruined dungeon with no explanation of what really happened. There's enough there that people can probably piece it together and probably be correct, but I never explicitly said what happened, and that's very unusual for me. I like explaining my stories, and so hopefully it turned out. I was hoping that the audience would get it and like that and not be confused at the end. And then that last cliffhanger was just a cheap shot from me, but yeah, it was fun. It was a fun opportunity to run. It is a little stressful doing it on recording. Like, even doing it professionally, I don't usually do it recorded. And so it was an experience, but now it's kind of nice now having more like permanent examples of me running stuff that I can kind of show people. Like that's very good for things. So do y'all have any questions? Chat kind of quieted down after I appeared. I also haven't stopped talking, so why would they? Yeah, Lucia, you asked that in the Discord, and it was not, but as soon as you said it, like I realized where you were coming from, and it does have a lot of parallels, especially with the king. Yeah, and the story of of everything that happened there. So it was not intentional, but I like that quite a bit. The way I kind of came up with it is I was thinking through kind of things that I liked. I knew early on that it was probably going to be like a castle. I was originally thinking like a fey castle, maybe made out of obsidian. And then as I kind of worked through things, I just kind of thought through elements that we haven't used that I very much like, and mirrors is one of them. I've never made a mirror dungeon before, so I thought that would be a lot of fun because I like that thematically a lot. And so then I kind of took it from there, and it stayed in a castle, but I kind of reworked it from that concept outwards. The puzzles were originally a bit different because I had a lot of rooms where they would actually have to walk through the mirror to then like kind of navigate like the mirror side of the room. But kind of the more I wrote the story of the boss monster and what destroyed this castle, the more I realized that what it was trying to do was lure them to the heart so it could get them in the mirror world. So it doesn't make sense to have them do that early and have it just be fine. Also, I don't think they would have willingly walked into a wall mirror. So that's just some behind the scenes on kind of how I adjusted it in my design process as I fleshed it out. Yeah, I'll be completely honest. For coming up with this dungeon to outlining what was basically going to happen, that took me like about a half hour total to just come up with the concept, make a whole outline for a 4-hour session. And if I was running it in person, I probably would have taken another like 40 minutes tops to flesh it out, and then I would just like improvise it based on my outline because it's all in my head. For this, writing out the descriptions of rooms so it sounds good on podcast audio, because in real life I just talk and I just describe what I'm thinking, but because of that my speech is more halted, kind of like now, or I say like or a lot more, and I didn't want that. I wanted it to sound clean because we have a very clean sounding podcast. So writing down the descriptions for the rooms, that took 2 hours, which is a lot more, which is quite a bit of prep, but it's pretty quick overall because it was despite the trappings, it was a pretty simple and straightforward dungeon crawl, whereas the things that take me longer to write are things that have like more NPCs, more intrigue, more kind of moving pieces, and this one was very, very straightforward. But yeah, there's always prep work. There's always prep work, and there's a certain point where I can run something without needing to spend a lot of time, but it is better if I spend that time. Thanks, Zombie. Let's see. Yeah, and then obviously, like, Like actually writing things down, like writing a module is a whole different. That's even a whole different animal. That takes, you know, days of work. But yeah, it's just because in the whole like DM toolkit, everyone's different. Improvisation is one of my strengths. It's also kind of why I focus on, you know, writing, the writing side of the RPG industry. Is because I come up with ideas, and Zach is very similar actually. He's also kind of an idea person, but our styles of running are different. Law is actually very, very good at improvising as well. I don't really want to compare, you know, different members of the cast, but Law is very, very good at, you know, not only running these things, but also if something changes and swings in the narrative, like he goes with it very quickly and comes up with very new things, which you actually kind of saw in Undermile. And there's probably other examples of it, but in Undermile, he actually called it out where, you know, there was an encounter that he thought was going to be a fight, and we ended up not doing that. And so he had to improvise on the spot, like, well, if it's not a fight, then it's going to be a skill challenge, and then you also have to come up with like a new gift for the Cellar King. Yeah, so a lot of my adventures that I do professionally, a lot of them I do rerun for different groups and reuse them, because that's the smart way to do it, honestly. If you're in the business of running games professionally, like 100% reuse your content, because you're not often paid for your prep time. And so any chance you get to do that is just always do it. And yeah, I would... There's always things I would change. In this one, it potentially could have been a little longer, but there were a few scenes, such as in that first kind of reflection mirror room, where the cast really talked amongst themselves or interacted with things for extended periods of time, so it kind of condensed some of the journey through the dungeon. I'd probably come up with like a couple more small puzzles in the middle. There was originally a puzzle to open the door to the throne room that actually I was happy to cut for time, because it wasn't great, but I'd love to improve it. And then I'd probably, based on that boss fight, I'd probably tweak the boss a little bit, honestly. Just like the way it runs and some of the action economy and stuff. But just little things. It's all tweaks. But thank you for asking. Are there any other questions? The last episode we recorded was 89. So we have a 2-month kind of buffer of content right now. So yeah, assuming we keep that. We got a ways yet. Like that's still another like 4 to 6 months. Probably like 5 to 6. I'm no good at math after 7 p.m. But there's still time to reach episode 100. Yeah. Gotta say though, like I will try my hardest not to miss any of the upcoming ones because I love every single one of them. And then I probably will be gone for a while and not streaming in April. But if that is it, we can probably wrap up. Like, tag me in the Discord anytime. I'm always happy to talk about any of this stuff more. Just an open mouth face from Gio. Yeah, I'm going on a trip for a few weeks in April, and so no. No, I'm trying to get a vacation in, like a lengthy vacation, before we open, because after we open, I'm not going to be able to take one for, at least a year probably. Okay, I can update you on TPK really quick, actually. That's a really good question. So our final permits, or our permits finally got like final official approval, not like tentative approval, but full approval from the city of Portland in kind of mid-December, early mid-December. And also the business that was our tenant in the building moved to their new location like 4 blocks away, and construction started last week. I want to say it started last week. And there are pictures actually on our Instagram of like the front of the building is kind of roped off with like that like plastic tape, and then there's some pictures of the inside being demolished. That's happening right now, and we expect that we expect to open around like June or July at this point, which is a few months later than we originally planned, but permitting took so long that ended up being the biggest delay was the permits. But things are going good. We're kind of fulfilling all the swag from the crowdfunder. We're in the process of that, but obviously not the book, because we have to finish writing it and developing it. And I'm juggling a few writing projects right now that includes that. But what else? One of the things that's cool is it's actually on our Instagram. It's our story right now. Is some of the lights arrived, and they're very, very fun, because in my setting Volruvena, there are these magic items called sun shards that can be used to produce light. They can also be used to power machines, sort of like magic batteries. And they were used for a variety of things before the cataclysm, and so while we were kind of talking through lights, we're just kind of talking through it, and so I can't even remember who suggested it, but I think Elliot, our CEO, was like, well, what about these crystals? And so all of our lights, besides the ones in the bathroom, all of our lights in the main space are crystal shaped, and they're different sizes, and they're all going to be either hanging from the ceiling or in wall sconces, and we got them to kind of take these crystal shaped lights and give them a slight amber tint, because our sun shards are yellow. It'll also make the space more warm in tone. I am just so excited for them, and there's a picture of one of them that Elliot pulled out of a box earlier. What else am I excited for TPK? That is it. There's some other stuff we haven't announced yet. I don't really want to deprive my business partners of being the ones to announce it, but we're always going to be doing stuff even before we're open. and we've got some stuff. In fact, you'll probably hear about it later this week. But yeah, I think I've kept you on long enough. Thank you for letting me talk about TPK. I could have made some of my encounters harder. Like I thought I made them pretty hard, but they were not nearly as nasty in terms of pure damage as either, relative to level, of course, either Max's Evil Tree or Dan's, like Goldum. But I the dungeon, I think, holds up and will I think it'll age well with this season. But I don't know, maybe I'll DM again someday. Not anytime soon. It's yeah. But yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. I love you all very much, and I know the whole cast does as well. So until next time, we wish you luck. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Lucia. Good night.